All right, let's just jump right in. I want you to imagine, for a second, a clock. But forget about brass and steel. This clock, its gears are entire galaxies, its hands are comets sweeping through space. And the ticks? The ticks aren't seconds. They're the rise and fall of empires, the cosmic shift from light to darkness and back again. Every single movement, every cycle, is part of this perfect, divine rhythm. This is the universe, according to the Zohar. Not some random series of events, but a meticulously designed reality, a cosmic blueprint.
Now, this verse, this is our master key. Seriously, it's like the line of code that, once the mystics unpacked it, reveals the hidden operating system of all reality. And it tells us something absolutely crucial right from the start. There's more than one kind of time. There are these broad seasons, and then there are these very specific moments. And believe me, understanding that difference is everything.
So let's start with the big idea, the foundational principle here. According to the Zohar on Parshat Maketz, nothing, and I mean nothing, in history is an accident. It's all part of a divine schedule, a pre-written calendar that's working on a scale that's almost impossible for us to wrap our heads around.
I mean, just listen to how the Zohar puts it. History isn't just one thing after another. The great cycles, like when one empire is on top or when a people are in exile, these are not just political events. They are appointed intervals, divinely scheduled periods of light and darkness. There's literally a set runtime for the light of the nations and a set runtime for the darkness of exile. It's like history's a program, and it's running on a very precise schedule.
Okay, so that brings us to the real mystery we're going to crack today. If it's all on a schedule, how does anything actually change, right? Well, the secret is hidden in those two Hebrew words for time we saw in that first verse. They are the two codes that basically run this entire cosmic system.
So here it is, the million-dollar question. What's the real difference between Zman and Et? You know, in English, we'd probably just translate both as time, but in this cosmic programming language, they are as different as night and day. Think of it like this. One is the background process that's always running on the server, and the other is the critical, game-changing event that gets triggered to change everything.
Let's dive deeper into this with a little tech analogy. Think of Zman as the system's schedule, the source code of reality itself. It's that massive overarching blueprint that lays out the long, predictable cycles. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, a time of power, a time of exile. That's the Zman, just humming along in the background. But Et is the trigger event. It's that specific, opportune moment when a brand new process is allowed to run. It's almost like a firewall rule that suddenly opens a port and says, okay, this specific action can happen now. Like, say, a dream being sent to Pharaoh at the absolute perfect moment.
And this is what we can call cosmic engineering. It's this idea that reality runs on an event-driven architecture. You have your long-running background processes. Those are the seasons of our lives, the Zman. But real, profound change, the kind that totally shifts the course of history or your own personal story, that change gets activated by these very specific, divinely timed triggers, the Et. And honestly, getting the difference between the two is the key to figuring out our own lives.
So, if that's the system, how does it actually run? I mean, what's the engine powering this whole cosmic clock? To get that, we have to go under the hood, into the engine room of creation itself, the Sephirot. These 10 divine attributes through which the whole world is governed.
Now, within this whole intricate divine machinery, the Kabbalists tell us it really boils down to 3 primary Sephirot. These are the core components. Think of them as the master schedulers and the divine processors that are directing the flow of reality itself.
Let's break this down, because this is amazing. Up top, you have Bina, which means understanding. This is like the ultimate source code repository, the deep well of potential from which every possible timeline could emerge. Then, in the middle, you've got Sephirot, which means beauty or harmony. This is your central processor. Its main job is to balance the flow of energy, especially mercy and judgment. It's symbolized by the sun, and it governs the daytime of reality. And finally, you have Malkut, the kingdom. This is the execution layer. This is our physical world, the timeline where the cycles of Zman actually happen and where the triggers of Alt get pulled. Its symbol is the moon, and it governs the night.
And this table just lays it out so clearly. Bina is the great scheduler, the cosmic womb of all potential. Sephirot is the harmonizer, the sun, in charge of the forces of mercy, which we experience as day. And Malchut is our reality, the moon, which governs the forces of judgment, what we experience as night. And look, these aren't just pretty metaphors. The Zohar is telling us that the actual spiritual energies of mercy and judgment literally correspond to the cycles of day and night, all run by this divine engine.
And here's where it gets even cooler. Kabbalah describes these spiritual states using the language of color. Now, we're not talking about literal paint. This is symbolic code for the dominant energy, the spiritual weather of any given Zman. So, white represents the expansive light of chesed, or mercy. Red is the color of restriction, of gevura, or judgment. Green, like a rainbow, represents tiferet, that perfect blend and harmony of the two. And black? Black represents malchut, when it's in a state of concealment, when the divine light is hidden. That's the color of exile.
Okay, that was a lot of abstract, high-level stuff, so let's bring it all down to earth. Let's take this whole cosmic engineering blueprint and apply it directly to the story in Parshat Miketz, and we can actually see this system in action.
The story kicks off with this incredibly important phrase, Vayehi Miketz, and it came to pass at the end. That word, Miketz, it means the end. The Zohar says whenever you see this word, it's a signal, it's a flare going up. It means one scheduled process, one Zman, is finishing its run, and a critical trigger, an Et, is about to fire to kick off the next phase.
So let's just walk through this. It's a perfect example. First, you have the Zman of darkness. For 2 whole years, Joseph is totally concealed, forgotten in a dungeon. This is a time governed by judgment, that black spiritual state. Then, boom, right on schedule, at the exact end of that cycle, the Et arrives, the trigger event. Pharaoh has a dream. This is not random indigestion. It is a divinely timed activation. This trigger leads to the revelation. Joseph is brought out, he interprets the dream, and he makes visible the hidden 7-year cycles of Zman that were already programmed into reality. And what's the result? The entire system state changes. A brand new cosmic schedule is activated, the Zman of light, where Joseph comes to power. It's a perfect case study.
And you have to ask, why 7 years? Well, the number 7 is everywhere, for a reason. It's so deep. It represents the 7 lower Sephirot that govern our physical world. It echoes the 7 days of creation, the 7-year agricultural cycle of Shemitah, even the 7 millennia the world is supposed to exist. These aren't just random numbers. They are the fundamental rhythms, the frequencies that reality is built on. So those 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows, they were a physical manifestation of this deep cosmic rhythm.
So we've gone from the cosmos to biblical history. But here's the most powerful part of this whole teaching. This exact same blueprint, this very same operating system of Zman and Et, it's running right now, in your life.
And this is the real takeaway. The cosmic blueprint is also your personal blueprint. Let's use a different analogy, one for today. Think of your life as a video game. Your soul is on a journey that was designed as a series of levels with unique challenges and special events, all perfectly timed in sequence for your growth.
So here's how you can use this ancient wisdom like today. Step 1. Recognize your Zman. What season are you in right now? Is this a time for learning, a time for building something quietly, a time for waiting patiently in the prison of some situation? Just identify and own the level you're on. Step 2. Watch for the Et. You have to be spiritually awake for this. The trigger events, they don't always show up with a flashing sign. It might be a sudden idea that pops into your head, a chance meeting with someone, an unexpected opportunity, or a really vivid dream. These are the special events designed to unlock the next level. And finally, step 3, activate your purpose. When that trigger shows up, act. Use that moment of it with all your intention to level up, to shift from your Zman of waiting into a new Zman of light and purpose.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Take a real look at your life, right now. Are you in a Zman of waiting, a season of preparation? Or maybe, just maybe, if you look closely enough, has a trigger event, an Et, already happened? Is the universe waiting for you to pick up the controller and start the next chapter of your own sacred timeline?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week.
If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.